So by the end of the year, it should be all flat ground. And then we're being told anywhere between 12 and 14 months before the new station is complete and ready for our crews to move back in.
Gotcha. Okay. So with a project like this, what does the cost look like and where are those funds coming from?
So the majority of the funding is through surtax. The total project is around $17.5 million.
So since a brand new building is being built, what kind of improvements can be made by taking that route?
So one of the biggest is we are a critical infrastructure building. So our crews are expected to respond as soon as the storm clears. The new building will be rated up to a Category 5 hurricane, and that meets the code for our wind load this far inland because we get a little bit less intense winds as we get away from the coast.
Sure, that makes sense. So we're coming up here on some beautiful trees.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about the plan for these. Are some of them sticking around? What is your plan?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things we did very early in the project is we recognized that to the best that we could, we wanted to save as many trees as we could, but especially the mature oaks.
Sure.
They provide a lot of shade and they're beautiful and, native to Florida. So we worked with the contractor to design the parking lot in a way that we could really maximize the ability to keep these trees. So a large amount of these more mature oaks that you see that were standing under the nice shade canopy, we were able to keep a lot of these trees. Some of the smaller oak trees and some of the older palm trees we won't be able to keep, but we worked with the city arborist to ensure that we did the best we could with how that design can be and found out that honestly some of the palm trees are at their end of life as is.
Got it. Okay, well that's great. I know a lot of the residents are going to really appreciate that as well. So to cap it off, service is staying the same. Everyone's getting the same level going forward.
Yeah, Madison, you're right. So the crews that normally operate out of this fire station are just going to be a little ways down the road in a temp station with a temporary apparatus bay. And all of our administrative staff from Fire Rescue are moving into City Hall, which is right down the street. And if you need anything from Fire Rescue, you can go in the front doors of City Hall, turn to your left where Economic Development just moved into, and you'll see a friendly face from Fire Rescue ready to help you out.
That's great, continuing to provide that exceptional customer service. So I really appreciate all the information, Chief. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
The city wakes before you do. Quiet work already in motion. Work continues, even after you've gone. The way forward, kept ready. Every step, every turn, prepared long before you arrive. When your day ends, others begin theirs. every hour, every act, quietly connected.
Most of us don't think about how our city works. We drive on maintained roads, we call when there's an emergency, we assume someone's keeping it all running, and they are. Northport University gives residents a chance to step behind the scenes, to meet the people doing the work, to see how decisions are made, and to understand how we, as a community, can be part of it. It's not just about learning the facts. It's about learning where you fit in and how you could shape the city we call home.
The most surprising thing would probably be the opportunity to get tased, which is really cool, understanding how that feels. Would recommend for everyone, unless they have a heart condition. I think another thing would probably be how many people it takes to run everything.
Is how well all the departments work together and how well each of the departments know about other departments. So in the case of a big emergency, they already know what other departments are already supposed to do, and they all work together.
This is always a dance. There's always moving parts. There's always things that can impact a decision, whether it's state, local, federal, revenue. All these things come into play, and it's just amazing all these things of how the city is impacted for the variety of things that can occur.
I feel more confident in the city, in the way it operates. I don't see wasteful spending. I see a lot of proactive thinking, way outside the box of what I thought a city does.
Well, I was already in love with Northport. I think everyone knows that. I got to meet the people who work here, their love for the community, how hard it is to run a whole city, the intricacies of it, and the why. It answers so many questions about the why things are done their way they're done. So it empowers you to love where you live more and to get more involved.
And I think the important message here is the confidence that I really feel now of the people running each of these departments. You know, they are running multi-million-dollar businesses all separately, but coming together with tax dollars that come through. And that is by far not an easy task.
Departments that we've been to seem to have improved with the growth in the city. So the mere fact that we've grown such a major amount, the department has grown, the staff has grown, the offerings have grown, and the need for involvement from the residents has also grown.
I think Parks and Rec really showed up and did an amazing job. They had a bunch of staff people. They kind of brought us around, had different speakers. I think they take the prize for the best overall display.
Places that I didn't think I would enjoy as much, like I didn't think I'd enjoy Public Works as much as I did. I loved it. And it seemed to me that there were the more questions that were asked.
The Economic Development Council, I think that is just, again, it all points to live, work, and play within our community.
I think there's a lot of misunderstanding out there about really.
Good evening. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2026. It is 6:20 p.m. and we are in the city chambers, and I call this City Commission regular meeting to order. Commissioners present are Commissioner Duval, Commissioner Stokes, Mayor Emmerich, Vice Mayor Langdon, and Commissioner Petro. There is a quorum present for this meeting. Also present are City Manager Fletcher, City Attorney Fuino, City Clerk Faust, Board Specialist Linder, Police Chief Garrison, and Fire Chief Titus are in the back. I am requesting that all commissioners, public participants, and staff maintain order and decorum throughout this meeting. City Policy 2021-03 states that attendees shall refrain from engaging in personal attacks and boisterous, immaterial, inflammatory, obscene, profane, or disorderly conduct. Additionally, meeting attendees must refrain from obscene, profane, or disorderly conduct, including hand clapping, yelling, and similar demonstrations, all of which disturbs the peace and good order of the meeting. Thank you. I'm going to call on Ms. Karen, Brianna, and Amy Newkirk to lead us in the pledge, please. Thank you, ladies. Request a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes, seconded by Vice Mayor to approve the agenda. There's nothing to that. Please vote. That passes 5-0. City Clerk, public comment. Please.
This is Pam Tokars, 860-965-3749. This is a general public comment for tonight's agenda, June 23rd, the 6 p.m. meeting. This public comment is regarding the discussion about whether serving as a city commission is a full-time or part-time job. I realize this is a discussion to save money in the upcoming budget. During your discussion, I would like to remind you of the conversation that took place during the September 10th, 2024 meeting. The discussion involved increasing the commission salary base. A few of you sitting on the dais today had provided examples of various duties you perform as a commissioner. Some of these duties were attending all commission meetings, the extensive preparation for the agenda items, joining various boards, either city or state level. There were many public meetings to attend, not relating to regular commission meetings, participating any way you can to engage the community, the many community events that they attend, and when they're out in the community, people approach them with questions and it now turns into a work event. They are available 24/7. And immersing yourself in the community is a full-time job. Please keep these items in mind as you have your discussion. If as a group you decide it is a part-time job, then the next discussion on the salary portion of the commission budget should reflect part-time pay. Thank you.
David Iannotti. Spending is an extremely sensitive topic presently. Having said that, kicking the can down the road yet again on War Mineral Springs will only cost the city even more money. It's time to make good on making the only park we have that generates income look respectable. With the Legacy Trail tie-in and improved amenities, it's time to bear down and finally get some resolution on the matter. Thank you. Lisa Kinzel. I ask that the new 38% higher fees in garbage and other non-ad valorem items be voted against. 38% with or without the additional $128 and 15% for storm and drainage, when I believe that just raised around a year ago are huge increases. Your citizens are already struggling and we voted down funding things you seem to be trying to sneak through continually. Please rein in the spending and fees otherwise. I will definitely be voting for the property tax reforms for everyone. Thank you. Kelly Verada. I oppose the ULDC rezone. I want to know how you think it will benefit the city. So far, this rezone will ruin lifelong dreams, homes, and investments of my entire neighborhood. For example, the 75 Park Place RV and boat storage facility on North Chamberlain and Greenlee Street will immediately lower our home's values. The potential for disaster is very real, and an entire neighborhood could be worthless because of the rezone. You are risking an entire neighborhood's future because of your poor planning. This needs to stop. If the I-75 unit or 175 unit scheduled pump out station cracks, leaks, or floods, it has the potential to ruin our only water supply. If any of the 175 vehicles leaks toxins and chemicals into the ground, which they will, over time our wells will be polluted and useless. We are above the utility line and do not have the option of city water. This type of facility does not belong in a residential neighborhood that is 100% tied to their well. It belongs off of a highway in an industrial or commercial area. In addition, crime will increase due to theft. Noise will be 24 hours a day with massive vehicles going in and out. Increased rodents, stench in our backyards every day from a pump out station holding feces and urine from 175 vehicles. Flooding will increase as there is estimated over 2 acres of cement planned, and the children of the neighborhood will be at risk with an influx of theft and vagrants. The future and well-being of this neighborhood is at risk. How does this help the future of Northport? I believe you have opened a can of worms without a plan and just picked lots to rezone without forethought, without an economic impact plan. These are basic facts of RV and boat storage facilities. It is documented everywhere. One business versus a whole community's depreciated home values and a major loss of quality of life with the potential to destroy an entire neighborhood literally is real. The rezone is destroying the future of its citizens and the future of Northport. Cheryl Cook. I am submitting this comment to raise concerns about whether the city's electronic public comment process provides equal opportunity for all residents to participate in commission meetings. Electronic public comment is intended to expand participation for residents who cannot attend in person because of the disability, illness, transportation limitations, work schedules, caregiving responsibilities, safety concerns, and other barriers. For many residents, it is the only practical way to engage with local government. However, the process appears to create an imbalance when electronic comments are submitted before a meeting and then become the subject of discussion during the meeting. A person who attends in person can hear discussion as it occurs and may have opportunities to address issues that arise later. By contrast, an electronic commenter whose submission deadline has passed has no comparable opportunity to respond if a commissioner or member of the public discusses that person's comment. This concern is especially significant for residents with hearing impairments or other disabilities who rely on captions, recordings, assistive technology, or remote participation methods. They may not become aware of statements made about them until after the meeting has ended. The result is a system in which some residents can engage in a live exchange while others are limited to one-way communication that may be publicly discussed without any opportunity for response. Whether intentional or not, this creates the appearance that residents who rely on electronic participation receive a lesser form of public comment. I respectfully ask the Commission to review whether current procedures provide equitable access to public participation and to consider safeguards to ensure residents using electronic comment are not placed at a disadvantage when their comments become the subject of discussion during a meeting. In person, I have Valdi Oleander, Stephen Harrison, and Robin San Vicente.
Good evening. I am Valdi Olander, and I come here in peace, and I am not the criminal. Don't treat me as one. And I have a dignity. Please respect it. Emlich, I am instructing you to remove the policeman and let him sit here. 90 degrees. This is not much. There was Phil Stokes says, law is law, laws are law. I'm talking about the Florida Constitution. You don't give a damn. I watched last two 2027 budget meetings. Meetings were held in picnic-like atmosphere. People were given 3 minutes only to speak. Clearly violates charter preamble. When I go to Walmart, Publix, Aldi, Home Depot, etc., there is no police, no metal detector doors. I feel welcome, employees are friendly. No one demand any payment until I consent. Question, in Alice's chart, there was the first meeting on 2027, who is responsible for poverty in Northport? Our constitution were made for moral and religious people. Are you one of those people? You all take the Pledge of Allegiance, flag, God, etc., and then disobey your oaths. You must allow people more time to rebuttal 2027 budget proposal, not only 3 minutes. Your manager, Fletcher, said that $755,000 allocated to the commissioners is not much money. Of course, it's not his money. What he cares? And you all compare salary with the other city employees around. You should compare your salary, what people makes here. You all completely out of touch with the foundation of this nation. Just remember, under Fletcher, since his arrival, Budget went up 85% when population grew only 17. General fund is up 75%. City employee, 24%. And per capita tax is 45% up.
Thank you.
I come in peace as well. My name is Stephen Harrison. I am the chair of the Charter Review Advisory Board, but I'm speaking on behalf of myself as a private resident, not on behalf of the board and whatsoever. So I'm here to speak about section 5.2 of the city's charter. So going back to Nikki Day's legal opinion given to us from the city, in the conclusion section it says, the charter's non-interference clause is a lawful and essential limitation designed to protect professional administration. So in Venice's charter, in section 3.6, it's in their non-interference clause, it says, except for the purposes of inquiry or investigations, the city council shall deal with city officers and employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the city manager solely through the city manager. Also, in Sarasota, the city of Sarasota, their non-interference clause in section 8 of their charter, it says, except for the purposes of formal inquiries and investigations pursuant to provision Article 4, Section 17 of this charter, the city commission and its members shall deal with city employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the city manager solely through the city manager. Also, in Charlotte County, the same exact thing, in section 2.3 of their charter, it says, except for the purposes of inquiry or information, the members of the Board of County Commissioners shall not interfere with the performance of duties of any employees for the county under the direct or indirect supervision of the county administrator. So I've found this same exact language all across the state, now with 30 different local governments, okay? Our neighbors, Venice, Sarasota, Charlotte County, they have the same thing in their charter, but we do not. Our charter in section 5.2 needs to say, except for the purposes of inquiry or information, the city commission and its members shall deal with city officers and employees who are subject to the direction and supervision of the city manager solely through the city manager. I've sent this to email to all of you guys. I've received a automatic comment from the mayor. I've received 2 actual emails back from commissioners, and Stokes and Ms. Langman, I've received nothing. I've sent 2 emails. I do public comment. Unfortunately, nobody talks about it. Nobody at all talks about it. It's all around the city. In different cities, they have it in their charter. Why is it not in our charter? It's simple. Information and inquiry, that's it. Everything else is directed through the city manager. I don't understand why we can't come together and have a discussion and get this in our charter. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, all. Robin San Vicente. This is kind of an intro to what I'm going to be saying later on the agenda item. But I want you to notice who's in the audience. This is over the Warm Mineral Springs issue, the majority. It's very important. We're looking at Warm Mineral Springs, and everybody is looking at, and forgive me, as the bastard child of the city of Northport, because nothing's being done. And everybody seems to be waiting and waiting and waiting. When is something going to be done? Are we just going to keep looking at these disgusting buildings in the shape that they're in? Or are we going to finally do something about them? We got to do something. We can't keep kicking it down the road. So hopefully at tonight's meeting, we can come to some kind of a definite of whatever we're going to do. But something has to be done at this particular point. Because again, it's a disgusting eyesore to look at. So I don't know how close we are in the renovation or the lack of money and funding for that. So I'm hoping that we can have a really good discussion and that you really take the citizenry into consideration when you make your decision. Thank you.
John Bryan, Jill Luke, and Chuck English.
Good evening. I'm John Bryant. I'm a partner and an architect at Sweet Sparkman Architects, but I'm speaking tonight as a private citizen and a Sarasota County resident. So I am one of the architects working with the city of Northport on the Warm Mineral Springs project. I wouldn't typically get up as kind of a private citizen, but in this case, I've been working on this project for close to 10 years and really felt compelled to come up and kind of share some personal thoughts and a little bit of context. We first completed renovation drawings back in 2021 for the buildings. Fortunately, that project kind of fell victim to cost increases of the COVID era. You know, as you all know, the buildings sort of were shuttered and then suffered through the hurricanes of 2024. Around that time, I think the commission had actually voted to demolish the buildings. And what occurred at that point, not with our involvement, but was a really, to me, just a great example of kind of public and government interaction where a group of private citizens, historic preservationists, really put forth a strong plan, convinced the commission to give it another shot. We helped facilitate some public meetings and really came to what was a better plan for the buildings, a more efficient, a more adaptive reuse plan that kept the historic buildings. And it was really inspiring for me as a public citizen to see that interaction of the citizens, the government, and to be able to be a part of it to, again, really come up with a smarter solution, an adaptive reuse of the buildings to preserve those buildings. And that was the design that we carried forward into the completed renovation drawings that I know that will be voted on. So again, I wouldn't typically get up and give kind of this personal plea. I just feel like having spent 10 years with these buildings, they have a life of their own in a sense. They never should have probably lasted as long as they have, but yet they're here. They've sort of persisted through that. And I think the opportunity now to move forward with a smart renovation that preserves sort of this historic integrity of the city of Northport and really will provide just a phenomenal community asset. Now is the time. So I, again, just encourage you to support this project moving forward. Thank you.
Jill Luke, I'm also going to encourage you to support the project too. I was sitting up there where you are during the point in time that he spoke. It's time to get this done. Everybody here knows it's an archaeological treasure, geological treasure, hydrological treasure. It is an architectural treasure because there's hardly any of the mid-century architect anywhere anymore. The cyclorama, 3 of them left? 6 in the entire world, 3 in the United States. We need this. We have a historical designation to this property, to this water, but the history goes back further than Northport. It goes way, way back before the Mackle brothers' parents even had the twinkle in their eye. I mean, we are going back to Paleological time. This is the history, this is the legacy of our city. I want to swing over and talk to you about the surtax money. That's not taxpayer money. That is that 1 cent tax. You guys have the privilege of deciding where it goes. I would encourage you to put it toward this. This makes money. We spent $12,000 or $12 million on Aquatic Center that keeps spending. We keep putting money into. This makes about 1.8 million or so a year. I've heard a little jingle that maybe you guys have thought about looking at the surtax as a loan for it to be redone because it makes money. It can pay back. I'm not going to encourage you to do that. It is an option. But you're going to be setting a precedent so that is the fire department or the police department going to have to pay you back or pay the surtax back if you turn this into a loan? No, it's not a loan, it's surtax. It was given to us. We utilize it for what we feel we need to. We need to get Warm Mineral Springs done. We need that pride of who we are in our heritage. It was Northport before we put the stake in the ground. And we need to make that claim ours. Thank you.
Here you go, Vincent. Thank you. Evening. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. I watched the road and drainage meeting today. It lasted 7 minutes. That has got to be a record. And I watch a lot of meetings. Okay? The thing that got my attention, I'm glad it did, was the discussion as it related to the Myakatchee Creek Bridge on Price. I just want to let you know, when you get to that, I will be very, very interested in the environmental impact of that bridge. And I would also let you start thinking about the Appomattox Bridge and the historical aspects that may be involved there as it relates to Sable Trace and the adjoining properties. I was gonna make a relatively long dissertation on Warm Meadow Springs, but I'm gonna sum it up. Simply, please stop kicking the can. Secondly, my grandma had a 58 Buick Roadmaster that she loved dearly. And when I was a little kid, I used to sit in the back, okay? Well, her horn stopped working, right? And she had a remedy to that. She'd hang her head out the door and say, "Shit or get off the pot." That's what I'm asking you to do. Y'all have a blessed evening.
Thank you. City Clerk, announcements.
The current vacancies for the following boards and committees include Art Advisory Board, Auditor Selection Committee, Charter Review Advisory Board, Citizen Tax Oversight Committee, Community Economic Development Advisory Board, Environmental Advisory Board, Historic and Cultural Advisory Board, Joint Management Advisory Board, Parks and Recreation Advisory Board, and Planning and Zoning Advisory Board. Sarasota County Advisory Council vacancies include one resident in Northport to serve on the Sarasota-Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization Citizens Advisory Committee, and one resident in Northport to serve on the Citizens Oversight Committee for School Facility Planning. If anyone would like more information, please see the City Clerk's office. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to the consent agenda. City Manager, has any items been pulled?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
All right, do we have any public comment?
Good evening again. Okay, this is going to be on the item for the abatement services agreements. When I'm looking at the attachments, first of all, it would be nice if we had all the attachments to whatever agenda item is going to be here, so that we can really look and understand and have available all the information necessary, so we can either make an intelligent public comment, or we can just say, okay, everything is great. But we need the information. When I'm looking at the submittals from the three, I go to pull it up and it says it's currently unavailable. So I can't look at anything. All I could see are the signed contracts and then the bid tabulation. Everything else is unavailable currently. So what is the story with that? And this is not just limited to the consent agenda. This is also taking into consideration some of the other agenda items, not just on this particular commission meeting, but on others where we need the information necessary to understand the specific agenda item. So a lot of information we feel is missing as an attachment in order for us to properly understand. And then what happens is we have to do public record request after public record request, or we have to email the commissioners or email and bother staff, and it's totally unnecessary to have to go that route. When if you're going to put together an agenda, we need the specific information so that everybody can fully understand what it is you're voting on, and if we have something to say about it. So I would just hope that things get improved. Thank you.
request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the items in the consent agenda.
Second. Whoop. Tossed ball.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Duval to approve the items in the consent agenda, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. If there's nothing to that, please vote. And that passes 5-0. Moving on to public hearings. Ordinance first reading, ordinance number 2026-19. Request a motion to direct the city clerk to read by title.
Second.
Have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes, seconded by Vice Mayor, to direct the city clerk to read by title only. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. City clerk?
Ordinance number 2026-19, an ordinance of the City of Northport, Florida, amending the non-district budget and capital improvement budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026 to increase the Warm Mineral Springs Building Rehabilitation Project WM19BR by the amount of $4,082,133, providing for findings, providing for posting, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Warm Mineral Springs Building Rehabilitation Project currently has $12,587,596 in available funding remaining. The remaining funding available of the project consists of $2.3 million from the Warm Mineral Springs, $382,625 in park impact fees, and $9.8 million in surtax funds. The project scope supported by these functions include the historic renovation of the administration building, hybrid renovation of the spa building, stabilization and mothballing of the cyclorama, implementation of wet flood-proofing measures across project structures, utility infrastructure, and parking lot improvements. The guaranteed maximum price for the construction phase of the project is $16.7 million. To address the shortfall of funding for the project, staff has identified funding resources in need of a budget amendment in the amount of $4.1 million approximately. So we're going to stop here. We're going to ask that you please provide us some guidance on how you would like us to move forward as we ask for the approval of ordinance number 2026-19 to the second reading on July the 2nd. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I got a question for you. With this $4 million being put over there, $4,082,000, does that complete all the funding?
That's it.
100%. We can move forward. We can be done with it. All the other monies are still there.
Yes, sir. Shovel on the ground.
I support that. I just wanted to start the ball rolling. So, Commissioner Stokes, you're up.
Well, appreciate Mr. English's comment. I will take exception and will not swear, but I'll just simply say it's time to not kick the can down the road. Let's get this done. I support this 100%. I support using the money from surtax to get this done, along with some funds that are coming out of, I think, a couple of the district funds, utility funds and impact fees. So, let's get this done. We're almost there, and like once and for all, let's bring this place back to something we're all proud of and move forward. Everybody's been waiting a lot of years. This was conversation when I got on the commission 3.5 years ago, and like I would love nothing but to get it done now.
Thank you, Mayor. Wasn't you? Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Warm Mineral Springs has been a controversial subject in a lot of quarters, and there are a fair number of people that I've spoken with in the city who have said the city never should have bought it. But the fact is, we did. We are now the stewards of this amazing place, and I won't reiterate, the public commenters did a very fine job of identifying all of the value that Warm Mineral Springs brings. And I think our restoration of the buildings and improving that property, putting conservation on a significant portion of the surrounding property is absolutely the right thing to do. So I am violently in support of adding another $4 million into the budget, because we are required by law to have all the money in-house before we're able to proceed. So the designs have been done, we've gone through procurement of the architects and the vendors to work with us on this amazing project. We are ready to go. We were just waiting for the additional budget to make it happen. So gentlemen, let's make it happen tonight.
Kat, please.
Sorry.
Commissioner Petro, it's just hard for us to hear up here, man. That's all.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Warm Mineral Springs is the only park that generates close to $2 million, and is the only park that generates revenue. So let's stick to the plan that was adopted in May of 2024 to preserve those historical buildings, and I'm in full support to do so. Thank you.
All right. City Clerk, public comment.
Michelle Moore. Mayor and Commissioners, I am writing to express my strong support for ordinance number 2026-19 to amend the budget for the Warm Mineral Springs Building Rehabilitation Project, WM19BR. Investing these funds into the rehabilitation of the historic buildings at Warm Mineral Springs is a vital step forward for the identity, preservation, and economic future of Northport. Warm Mineral Springs is not just a local park, it's an irreplaceable asset with immense historical, ecological, and cultural merit. It is a cornerstone of our community's heritage that deserves to be meticulously preserved and proudly highlighted. For years, residents and visitors alike have looked forward to seeing these iconic facilities restored to their full potential. Passing this ordinance honors that shared vision. Beyond the undeniable historical merit, this project represents a smart, long-term investment in our city's financial health. By rehabilitating these structures, we are actively restoring a major economic engine. A fully operational, modernized, and historically preserved Warm Mineral Springs will drive significant ecotourism and generate sustainable long-term revenue. Crucially, this revenue will flow back into our Parks and Recreation Department, providing the necessary funding to maintain and elevate recreational spaces for families all across Northport. I want to thank the Commission and City staff for identifying a balanced funding strategy that utilizes dedicated fund balances and impact fees, including the strategic reallocation of $500,000 from Langlass Park to make this monumental project a reality without overburdening our general fund. Let's protect our history, invest in our parks, and secure a vibrant economic driver for Northport. I urge the City Commission to vote yes on ordinance number 2026-19. Thank you for your time and continued dedication to our city. I love Northport. Go Capra. David Ionati, I feel it's time to finally put Warm Mineral Springs in the path to the dignity it deserves. Continuing to neglect it is only going to cost the city even more. Not to mention everybody is pretty tired of discussing it. Thank you. Jan Fertfuli. Dear Commissioners, I'm writing as co-president of the Sarasota Alliance for Historic Preservation to urge you to approve the budget request to complete the rehabilitation of the Warm Mineral Springs historic buildings. This board made the right decision in May 2024 to halt plans to demolish the 3 historic buildings at Warm Mineral Springs and to instead explore plans to restore them. Those renovations will soon start, and I urge you to stay on course. The buildings are in the National Register of Historic Places, and Northport's local register was created specifically to list these 3 buildings. The Sarasota Alliance for Historic Preservation developed a preservation plan for Warm Mineral Springs that lists a viable path to paying for the rehabilitation, and we remain committed to helping Northport complete the preservation of these buildings. City staff, the architects of Sweet Sparkman, and preservation experts have worked hard to get the project to where it is nearly shovel-ready. Please approve the requested $4.08 million budget increase to complete the renovations and ensure a legacy of preservation. Thank you. In person, I have Debbie Blackwell, Robin San Vicente, and John Thaxton.
Hi, everybody. I'm Debbie Blackwell, Northport registered voter. No more covert operations like stalling the outstanding Florida Spring. A huge high school was just built in the city since Hurricane Ian. A huge high school was just built in the city, and we don't have anything done out there at Warm Mineral Springs. Nothing. So if this amendment's going to delay more progress on getting this thing started, I can't support it. But if you're going to get things started, I say no more procrastination, no more P3s, no more lollygagging, no more distracting, no more delays, no more diversions, no more pivots, no more insulting voter intelligence, no more wasting money on reviews and designs, no more ploys, no more deceit. There is a plan. Follow the plan. Start the plan this week. The shovels are ready. Do the work. There's a large collaborative organization behind all of this. Allow them to get started. Let the horses out of the starting gate, as I've said before. Be neighborly. Be environmental stewards. Be voter aware. Be accountable and be alive. Because faith without work is dead, and bring the Warm Mineral Springs to life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more time on this. Thank you for finally addressing this and bringing it to where we're going to finally actually take some action on it. So I thank you for having this on the agenda. I want to thank everybody for also showing up and supporting Warm Mineral Springs. I also want to make a comment because I can't tell you how my phone was blowing up when we saw $245,000 and change coming out of the tree fund. We almost died. I want to personally reach out and thank Devon from Parks and Rec, who took the time to explain where that money is actually going to be designated, which fits right into the tree fund, the environmental fund for landscaping and all that other stuff. So I want to thank him personally for that. And I wanted to make that known to the public because that's where that money is going to be going. So I would hope, and it sounds like you all are going to finally get things done, and I thank you once again for bringing this on the agenda. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. For the record, my name is John Thaxton, and I am speaking on behalf of the Gulf Coast Community Foundation. Thank you for your service. As a County Commissioner, I realized that the greatness in Sarasota County was fueled by the diversity of our 4 amazing cities. We offered something in Sarasota County because of these cities for everyone. And this diversity was anchored in the individual unique features of the cities. Sarasota has St. Armand's Key, it has Lido, it has the Arts District. Longboat Key has endless miles of Gulf of Mexico beaches, and Venice has their amazing historic downtown. All of these features require periodic and sometimes substantial investments to maintain. Warm Mineral Springs is one such amenity that is worthy of a similar investment. Its warm mineralized spring is the only one of its kind in the state of Florida, and the surrounding mid-century architectural buildings have achieved national recognition. This site distinguishes Northport in a way that no other Northport amenity can. Nowhere else in the state can this fortuitous combination be found. It is unique, and it unapologetically requires an investment to remain the asset that it is and the asset that it can become. Gulf Coast Community Foundations has many investments in Northport, and we will continue as your partner. We have a lot of our staff that lives in Northport. We recognize that you have a professional and a competent staff, and we believe that they have offered you a professional and a competent recommendation to fund the improvements of these springs that will distinguish this great city of Northport into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Aaron DeFazio, Loam McDowney, and Miriam Springle.
Good evening. For the record, my name is Erin DeFazio, and I'm the Managing Director for the Sarasota Alliance for Historic Preservation, a county-wide organization dedicated to preserving our historic spaces. First, I would like to commend the commissioners for their 2024 shift to preservation of the Sarasota School of Architecture buildings on the Warm Mineral Springs campus. The thoughtful consideration of community input demonstrated leadership not often seen in Florida. At that time, members of our organization presented you with a preservation plan outlining some resources and strategies to ensure the survival of this internationally beloved attraction, included on both the Sarasota 6 to Save and the Florida Trust for Historic Preservation's 11 to Save. I would also like to thank the city's staff for countless hours that they have committed to bring the plan for preservation into being. Since 2024, city staff has championed these iconic elements of Warm Mineral Springs. Restoring and wet flood proofing these buildings is not only the most economically responsible approach, it is also in tune with best practices for a vulnerable natural site requiring climate adaptation. We appreciate that in these past 2 years, the hard work of creating a future for these historic buildings was taking place largely behind the scenes, with little visible evidence of what is to come, but now we are so close. It's crucial to recognize, for the same reasons the decision to preserve was made 2 years ago, it is imperative that we continue on the course toward a future for these important buildings. If there are additional questions to resolve, SAHP is ready and willing to help find answers. Northport doesn't have a long architectural history, but what it does have is a few really significant mid-century icons. The world will celebrate when we keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. For the record, my name is Lori Muldowney, and I am the Historic Preservation Consultant who had the privilege of preparing the National Register nomination for the Warm Mineral Springs Resort. So I'm very happy to be here with you this evening. Many of the people have echoed some of the comments I was going to make, so I'm going to shorten up my comments, but I did want to point out to you that the story of the Warm Mineral Springs Resort is a quintessential American story, one of post-World War II enthusiasm about the future ahead. The mere feat of its construction speaks to the optimism of the times. The buildings were completed in about 100 days, and there were 14,000 visitors here on that opening day. The plan before you this evening is one that was developed with extensive community input and preserves the most important architectural elements of the resort. It was developed as a compromise plan to meet budgetary goals while preserving the significant aspects of the building. Excellence isn't easy. It demands vision and it demands courage. I would encourage you to bring this excellent project to fruition. It will honor the past and provide the facility that the community can be proud of once again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Miriam Springle. I'm a member of the board of the Sarasota Alliance for Historic Preservation. Historic preservation is an economic engine. It drives visitors to an area. Visit Florida's 2024 research study notes that the travel and tourism sector accounts for 7.8% of Florida's gross domestic product. Local tax collection from tourism grew 2.2% in 2024 over 2023. By preserving the Warm Mineral Springs buildings, you are helping support the local economy of the future and helping ensure that the national and international tourists who enjoy Northport continue to come to Northport. In addition, historic preservation helps enhance the image of a community, its identity, and its sense of place, ensuring both residents and tourists talk about the city with pride and with commitment to its future. The Sarasota Alliance for Historic Preservation, as you've been hearing, has provided help and support as this commission made wise decisions about the future of the site. The Alliance will continue to support you as you move the work of these buildings forward. Board members and our managing director, who you've just heard from, are ready to lend their experience and their expertise as you, commissioners, and the city staff preserve the Warm Mineral Springs historic buildings. People travel to experience the places, artifacts, and activities that authentically represent the stories and people of the past and of today. Preserving these important buildings is critical to the rebuilding of the region after Hurricane Ian. I urge you to support the rehabilitation of Warm Mineral Springs 3 historic buildings. Thank you so much.
Regina Melman, Laura Ansel, and Debbie McDowell.
Regina Melman, local realtor. Thank you so much for helping, and that's the reason why I clapped. Because being a realtor around this area, and I apologize, I'm a little bit stressed out about that. I want to tell you that Warm Mineral Springs makes such a big difference to that area. Speaking just from the European point of the community, from just sales point, you know, I just want you to know, 4,139 buildings in this area belongs to that Warm Mineral Springs. By removing those buildings, and it's hard, I know money is tough, especially nowadays, economy, everything, I understand. The way how I came to this town, I came to this town because of Warm Mineral Springs, from Chicago, just to see what it is. If it wouldn't be for Warm Mineral Springs, I wouldn't be here. So it's so many other people would not. It's a mental state of mind, a healing zone for a lot of people who come here and want to get better. So, and I just want you to know, just removing those buildings, and I know from business point of view, it's going to be very difficult for you guys to restore. It's going to be mission impossible. We've been there with, you guys been wonderful years ago. I just know it's no money, and I understand. So the reason why I'm asking of you, just from the area of spring attraction, 150,000 visitors who comes here every year just to visit it, for inexpensive visit. That's how many people you're gonna lose each year coming to this area, spending money in your stores, in your restaurants, in the town. And that's how the Northport became Northport. Not because it's a working zone, it's not a resort, it's not Venice, and I agree with a lot of people. Real estate is different here, it's just because of those springs. And I really hope that you guys will be on board with it. Do not remove those buildings. I understand politics. I understand no money. Keep the buildings going, restore them, bring more revenue, not so much revenue, attraction for people to come here. Something gotta differ from others, other places here. Sarasota, Venice, something gotta differ. Northport is the biggest and growing town. Don't make that to go down, because that minute that's gonna go down, the whole town is going to go down. And then nobody's going to need you guys as a commission. That's why, truly, I appreciate for the support. I support of the manager and the commission. I talked to you guys years, you probably remember. We were here after Ashley Group. Help us to restore it. I'm not even from Northport, just so you know, I'm from Venice. And I wanted to make sure that you guys understand how important the Warm Mineral Springs to us right now. Because we're 15 minutes away. Welland Park will not help, believe me. Venice is not going to help. Northport is going to grow, and that's what's going to help and make the community grow. More people will come to Northport just because of the springs, and make sure that that area is going to grow with us. Please help us. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. For the record, my name is Laura Ansel, and I've been a resident of Northport now for 10 years, believe it or not. And during that time, I've had a front row seat to the journey of Warm Mineral Springs Park. And while I'm not an active user of the park, I recognize its significance to our community, its importance as a tourist attraction, and its historic value. I'm here tonight to encourage you to see your original vision through and approve the ordinance for Warm Mineral Springs Park. The future of the park has been a hot topic in our community for more than a decade, believe it or not. And both the project and its visitors have suffered because we keep ending up back here. With the commission reopening the topic or changing the plan right when we're on the 5-yard line and about ready to score the winning touchdown. Over 150,000 visitors who come to the Springs each year deserve better. The hardworking Parks and Recreation staff who handle their questions and concerns on the front line every day deserve better. And frankly, the city deserves the opportunity to realize the value of this asset. Even under its current conditions, Warm Mineral Springs generates nearly $2 million in revenue That's insane. If you've been to the park and you've seen the facilities, that's insane. This, imagine what it can generate once your vision and our vision as a community comes to life. War Mineral Springs is one of our most unique and valuable public assets. It's a natural resource, an important part of our city's identity, and a meaningful contributor to our tourism economy and long-term quality of life. But further delay and deterioration only increases the risk to these historic structures and the costs of preserving them. This ordinance is a chance to preserve a public asset, honor its significance, improve access, and support our economic development and growth management goals that you've all identified in our strategic plan. Denying or delaying this will risk more deterioration, higher construction, and another setback. Owen D. Young once said, "It takes vision and courage to create." You have already shown vision and courage by supporting this plan and bringing it to this point. Now is not the time for hesitation. We're on the 5-yard line. We've got a great plan. You're right there, to run a little option pass. It's going to be great. So I respectfully urge you to see this project through and approve the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we are again, talking about War Mineral Springs. Wow, what a story War Mineral Springs can tell. What a story the city has about War Mineral Springs. I mean, starting with the county, when we bought it from the county, to the master plan that was approved, to Hurricane Ian coming through, to the P3 that almost came to fruition. That didn't happen because of divine intervention. So I see today as another opportunity for divine intervention. And it's up to the 5 of you to seal its fate. I hear you guys are all excited about moving forward. And I am excited to hear that because it sounds unanimous. And this War Mineral Springs, these buildings are historic. They deserve the time and energy to make it what it should be. Once it's finished and you're across that gold line, the possibilities are endless. This will be the gem that it was destined to be. Please vote to have these buildings refurbished. Please get this project done. Please do not pull a Charlie Brown. Have a great evening.
Chuck English and Steve Kosky.
Evening again. I did say I had a dissertation. Nah. You all know what you need to do. And I believe you understand and have the wisdom to do the right thing. Thank you.
Good evening, Steve Kosky. I want to thank you all in advance and in anticipation of your vote tonight. This has been a long time coming. My first dives in War Mineral Springs, 1985. I went to the cyclorama, maybe only a couple of times, but every day at 1 o'clock. As I've mentioned before, Helen would come on and say, cyclorama will start in 5 minutes. And everybody in the spring would come up and line up in front of cyclorama, and they'd have a 15, 20-minute presentation. If none of you have been in the cyclorama, there are still a few murals and figurines left, and wouldn't it be great to restore some of that as well? I worked with Sonny Cockrell for 4 years at War Mineral Springs, and nobody understood the significance of War Mineral Springs and its buildings more than Sonny Cockrell. And then I went on to make a career of our 2 local treasures, War Mineral and Little Salt. So I want to thank you for your recognition of this significance. This is going to be part of your legacy that will be here long after you're gone. And I would like to see your photos on the wall of the cyclorama. And thank you for this monumental evening that I believe is going to move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. close this public hearing and request that almighty motion.
I'd love to do it.
My
All right, settle down. One of y'all.
He got the jump ball last time.
Okay, go ahead, Vice
Thank
Mayor.
I move to continue ordinance number 2026-19 to second reading on July 21st, 2026.
second.
All right, I have a motion on the floor made by the Vice Mayor to continue ordinance number 2026-19 to second reading on July 21st. 26?
July 7th.
Huh?
July 7th.
The reason that we did put it for the 21st was because of it being our first July meeting is
The
a
night.
nighttime meeting as well. So to have it on a day and a night, it would be the 21st.
One moment, please.
And that's all you're getting, because these people are waiting.
There's a timing issue with the Seymour.
I was just gonna say that.
There's a timing issue with the Seymour. If we push it back a little further, it kind of gets us outside of a 30-day window that we need.
But it's got an issue with that.
Right, I think you'd have heard a lot of public comment, and I think you might be okay with missing out on your practice.
Right, so we're gonna go the 7th then, due to that?
Yes, sir.
Perfect, okay. I would much rather do that.
Can I amend my own motion?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
No, I get to go.
I move to continue ordinance number 2026-19 to second reading on July 7th,
And I'll second that again.
2026.
All right, got a motion on the floor to continue ordinance number 2026-19 to second reading on July 7th, 2026, made by the Vice Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. If there's nothing to that,
I'm waiting for you.
We're waiting for your vote, Mayor.
let's vote. Well, I have to do my part first. Now the board's stuck. All right, yeah, that passes 5-0.
Mayor, it's okay.
Go ahead. Clap away. One exception. While we're clear, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. Just like, yeah, I mean, we're clear and everybody's noisy. 10 minutes.
How the city really works. And I think by offering a class like this, you get such an exposure to so many different departments and meet so many different people. You can't help but want to be a part of it.
If you plan on living here and living amongst the community and understanding the growth and understanding what we need, definitely join the Northport University. You're going to be pleasantly surprised.
I would absolutely say do it, because you don't know until you know. And you can go online and you can read all these things, but a lot of it is the experience and sitting across from whether it's the chief of police, the chief of fire rescue, utilities, all these, administration, all these departments are absolutely, you meet the leaders. You can look into their eye and ask pertinent questions that are important to you, so you understand of where they're at, where they're going, what are their constraints, and how we can be, as residents, try and give them the resources they need to provide the services that we're asking them to provide.
I'm more in love with Northport than I've ever been.
Hey Brandon, what are you listening to? Just listen to my CPR playlist. What's on that? Staying Alive. I'm Zach, and this is Travis from Northport Fire Rescue. And I'm Brandon, and this is Brett from the Northport Aquatic Center. Did you know a lot of the songs that you listen to on a daily basis follow the beats of CPR? 100 to 120 beats per minute. CPR saves lives.
Hey Northport, I'm here with Ryan from our engineering division in Public Works, and we're in an area that is experiencing some drainage concerns that were brought to us by some residents. So Ryan, what are some things you do when you get onto a scene like this to see what the issue may be?
First thing we do is we start at the bottom of the system, the outfall, how it connects into the canal. Then we start working our way up. We go through the cross drains, the culverts, the under drains, and we look at every way the water flows downward. And we look for blockages, sumped dirt pile up, and even sometimes could potentially collapsed culverts underneath. And you got to remember, you can't report your water being an issue until we have 72 hours of no rainfall. And let's say it rains on Tuesday, and a couple days go by, and on that second day it rains again, you got to restart your 72 hours. We have to spend time of our water inside the system in order to clean it and in order to slow it down. Otherwise, we're going to end up washing out our neighbors below us.
Absolutely. So tell us about what's happening here.
Right here, we have a rather large blockage inside the system. This is clearly a illegal dump of some sort, a tree, obviously, and this will slow down the water. If we could see on the north side of it, or north as in the upper part of the drainage way, it's full of water. But when we look at our footage from down below, it's dry. So this is a huge point of collecting water. These systems really fail sometimes with like a death by 1,000 cuts. You get a sump here, a collapsed culvert pipe, a blockage like this, and it slowly adds up.
That makes sense. So if anybody out there is seeing issues like this or experiencing it in your neighborhood, you're welcome to report it through our North Report system, which is at northportfl.gov/northreport, or you can give the Public Works customer service a call.
In Northport, families are finding more and more places built just for them.
We opened this past June. We are an indoor play center for children ages 0 to 7. We do open play sessions, birthday parties, special events, and classes here at the play center. For me, being a Northport resident, there was really not a whole lot in Northport for children besides the local parks. So it was super important for me to have something in the community to be able to offer to families with young children. You want to have that option to be able to still get out of the house with the kids, get their energy out, and not have to hike all the way up somewhere with traffic.
And you can just go to a spot near you and just make those special memories that are close to home. Playtime Paradise isn't the only new spot making playtime local.
Do the Beach is an immersive indoor adventure park. We are primarily an inflatable-based attraction. We have over 14 different ride attractions scattered throughout the park. With growing young families pouring into Northport and growing the city, we just knew there was such a need for families to have an outlet and some good entertainment, active entertainment for children. One of our core beliefs as a company is encouraging kids to get involved in active and social play, getting them away from their screens and using their imaginations.
From slides to inflatables, dance classes, birthday parties, Northport is growing, and so are the options for young families right here at home.
The community has welcomed us with open arms.
We are thrilled to be here.
It shows families that there's a place for them to grow as a young family in Northport.
There's a place in Northport that invites you to slow down, to see, hear, and feel the world around you. Inside the Garden of Five Senses is Boundless Adventures, a playground where every child can play, no matter their abilities. Just beyond the playground, the Story Stroll turns a simple walk into an interactive adventure. Each step reveals a new page or activity, sparking imagination, curiosity, and conversation. It's a walk, a story, and an adventure, all in one beautiful setting. The Garden of Five Senses, Boundless Adventures, and the Story Stroll, where every visit is a story waiting to be discovered.
While you're watching me run away from this hurricane, you could be signing up for emergency alerts. Sign up at alertsarasotacounty.com today.
Welcome to the brand new Northport Podcast Network. We're so excited to introduce you to our revamped lineup of shows, created to keep you connected, informed, and inspired about everything happening in our city.
That's right. With 3 unique shows under one network, there's something for everyone.
First up is Northport Now. Madison and I will rotate hosting this fast-paced, news-driven podcast to bring you the latest city updates, event previews, and important information, all in one quick listen.
Think of it as your weekly guide to staying in the know about what's happening in Northport.
Next, we have Northport Stories. Laura and I will share heartfelt and inspiring tales from around our community, stories that showcase the people, places, and moments that make our city special.
And don't worry, Voices of Northport isn't going anywhere. I'll continue bringing you even more personal stories and interviews with residents who shaped our city.
And last but not least, Northport Living. Cody and I will also rotate hosting this show, which is all about tips, events, and lifestyle ideas to help you make the most of life right here in Northport.
Whether you're looking for family-friendly activities, ways to get involved, or helpful home and garden tips, Northport Living has you covered.
With breaking news, heartfelt stories, or practical tips, the Northport Podcast Network is your go-to source for all things Northport.
Make sure to subscribe to the Northport Podcast Network wherever you listen, and join us as we celebrate and connect with our amazing community.
Northport Now will be released bi-weekly.
Northport Stories and Living will be monthly.
A schedule will be available on social media and our website.
Hello everyone, Devon Poulos here, Aquatics Manager. Welcome to my crib. We have fun here at the crib, programs included. Become a past member, play all year long. Here at the crib, we do have rules. We take all payments here at the crib, Apple Pay, MasterCard, Visa, cash. You pay right here to enjoy the crib. So enter through the gate, child-proof, most adult-proof. Shade. What's that? Our newly installed sunshade available for rent all season long. Here at my crib, you don't have to worry about a place to find a seat. We've added more chairs than ever here at the crib. If you're coming to enjoy the cribs and you got little ones, we got the perfect area for them, our Pelican Playground. Newly painted, fresh floor, fresh palm tree. It's looking clean. Looking for a place to work your upper body? Take a shot here at our Stingray Shuffle. Looking to relax? I got you covered here with our Lazy River. Living more on the adventurous side? Check out the slides right behind me. Newly painted, all offer something individual and unique. Check it out. Check out the main pool, kept at a wonderful 84 degrees all year long. I just want you to have a good time. We have safety covered. Lifeguards here, staff, all day, every day when we're open for you to enjoy. Concession is open. Pizza, pretzels, nachos, ice cream. We got it all.
All right, we're back at it. Moving on to ordinance, second reading, ordinance number 2026-09. City Clerk, can you read by title only, please?
Ordinance number 2026-09, an ordinance of the City of Northport, Florida, providing that failure to appear at a code enforcement hearing constitutes an omission and waiver and authorizes imposition of penalties and costs, amending the code of the City of Northport, Florida, Section 2-508, providing for findings, providing for complex, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During the City Commission regular meeting held on June 9th, 2026, ordinance number 2026-09 was forwarded to second reading with a 5-0 vote. There were no changes recommended. We ask that you today approve ordinance number 2026-09 as presented. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Not seeing anything in the queue from commissioners. Do we have public comment?
There is none.
All right, I'm going to close this public hearing and request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-09 as presented.
I have a motion to adopt ordinance number 2026-09 as presented, made by Commissioner Stokes, seconded by Commissioner Duval. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. All right, moving on to ordinance number 2026-17. City Clerk, can you read by title only, please?
Ordinance number 2026-17, an ordinance of the City of Northport, Florida regarding street naming and property numbering, amending the code of the City of Northport, Florida, section 70-55 through 70-58, providing for findings, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During the City Commission regular meeting held on June 9, 2026, ordinance number 2026-17 was forwarded to second reading with a 5-0 vote and no recommended changes. We ask that today you approve option 1, which is approved ordinance number 2026-17 as presented. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. See nothing in the queue. Any public comment, City Clerk?
There is none.
All right, I'm going to close this hearing and request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt ordinance number 2026-17 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Duval to adopt ordinance number 2026-17 as presented, seconded by Commissioner Stokes. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. Moving on to ordinance 2026-18. City Clerk, can you read by title only?
Ordinance number 2026-18, an ordinance of the City of Northport, Florida, amending the non-district budget for fiscal year 2025 through 2026 for use of State of Florida contraband forfeiture funds in the amount of $55,000, providing for findings, providing for posting, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During the City Commission regular meeting held on June 9, 2026, ordinance number 2026-18 was continued as presented to second reading on a 5-0 vote. We ask today that you adopt ordinance number 2026-18 as presented. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I see nothing in the queue. Any public comment?
There's none.
All right, I'm going to close this hearing and request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt ordinance 2026-18 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes to adopt ordinance number 2026-18 as presented, seconded by Vice Mayor. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. Moving on to resolution 2026-R-27. City Clerk, can you read by title only, please?
Resolution number 2026-R-27, a resolution of the City of Northport, Florida, approving the expenditure of forfeiture funds for costs related to the Police Department crime prevention, community outreach, and youth substance abuse prevention programs, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This resolution supports community-based programs and crime prevention initiatives, helping the city meet statutory requirements while strengthening partnerships with local organizations and enhancing public safety efforts. We ask today that you approve resolution number 2026-R27 as presented. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'm not seeing anything in the queue. Do we have any public comment?
We do not.
All right, I'm going to close this hearing and request a motion.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt resolution 2026-R-27 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Stokes to adopt resolution number 2026-R-27 as presented, seconded by Commissioner Duval. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. Moving on to resolution number 2026-R-37. City Clerk, can you read by title only, please?
Resolution number 2026-R-37, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, naming the new Utilities Administration Building as the Richard J. Newkirk Utilities Administration Complex, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. During the City Commission regular meeting held on March 23, 2021, as part of the discussion of an agenda item regarding the possible presentation of a key to the city for Richard Rick Newkirk, the City Commission discussed additional ways to recognize Mr. Newkirk's service, including dedicating the new Utility Administration Building in his honor. While the formal action taken at that meeting was approval of the key to the city presentation, the discussion reflected interest in a future facility dedication. Approval of resolution number 2026-R37 establishes the new facility's official name prior to opening and occupancy to ensure consistent use across signage, map, GIS, wayfinding, and communications. Today we ask that you take option 1, which is approving resolution number 2026-R37. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I personally believe Rick would really say, no, you don't do this. But that's just the way he was, and it is an honor to do this for him. But one suggestion I want to make sure is included in here to the utility people out there. Somewhere on that property, on the wall or inside, that there is a huge mural of Ricky Raindrop. Has to be in place. So, Commissioner Duvall.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to speak because I truly miss this gentleman. When I first started, I met him in this room when I first started to come to city meetings. And as a citizen, coming in here, he was a person that no matter who you were, he spoke to you. You asked a question, you had a question, he answered it. And he always had a smile. I truly, truly believe he is deserving of this, and he's also, his loss was a big loss to this city, as well as I know to his family. He was definitely a gentleman that we should honor with something like this. Thank you.
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I think I was the last commissioner to have the honor of spending the better part of a day with your dad and your husband. And we visited every vacuum station, every pump, every asset that had anything to do with the treatment and movement of water through the city. And it was clear in taking that tour with him that he took personal pride in every single thing. So I am so delighted that the building will be named, hopefully, after Mr. Newkirk.
There was one thing that I wanted to add too when she brought up about the tours and stuff. Many, many years ago, there was a new feature that was put in at the wastewater plant, otherwise known as the plant. And my office happened to be right next to it. And the fumes from that plant used to come over. And Rick come over and he goes, hey, I gotta show you something. He takes me over there to this big vat. He goes, do you smell that? I go, yeah, it sort of smells like flowers. He goes, they just put a deodorizer thing up here. Isn't it great? I go, yeah, but I still smell the other stuff over in my office. It smells great here, but it needs to be dispersed and bigger. And we just laughed about it. And that was the way Rick was. He was always thinking about somebody else and what was going on. And he was a great man and a great friend. So, anything else from anybody? All right, public comment?
If anybody deserves a building named after them, it is Rick Newkirk. He was a force to be reckoned with, and this will solidify his legacy and his contribution into the city of Northport forever. I personally remember him explaining about straws. And in the system, it's like putting a straw in, and you only have so many space for straws. I will never, ever forget his analogies on that. So, Commission, please unanimously approve naming the new utility building after Mr. Rick Newkirk.
That's all there.
All right, I'm going to close this public hearing and request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead there, David.
I move to adopt resolution number 2026-R-37 as presented.
Second.
So, agreed on.
Oh, so sorry.
All right, I have a motion on the floor made by Commissioner Duvall to adopt resolution number 2026-R-37 as presented with great honor, and seconded by Vice Mayor. If there's nothing to that, please vote. That passes 5-0. Thank you all very much for being here. Moving on, resolution number 2026-R-44. City Clerk, can you read by title only?
Resolution number 2026-R-44, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Northport, Florida, adopting City Commission Policy number 2026-01 related to the open data policy for What Works City certification, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. City Manager, this is your item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This DATC policy is intended to make appropriate city data more accessible, usable, and understandable so that residents, businesses, and stakeholders can better evaluate city services, monitor performance, and engage in civic life. It is designed to complement and not supersede Florida public records law, as well as other applicable confidentiality requirements, regulations, and policies. The policy also supports the city's broader strategic direction to advance data-informed decision-making and aligns with nationally recognized best practices, including What Works City's standards of excellence. Today, we ask that you adopt resolution number 2026-R-44 as presented. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I see nothing in the queue. Any public comment, City Clerk?
There is none.
I'm going to close this hearing and request a motion.
I'll do it.
Go ahead.
I move to adopt resolution 2026-R-44 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to adopt resolution number 2026-R-44 as presented, made by Commissioner Stokes, seconded by Commissioner Petro. If there's nothing to that, please vote. Now it passes 5-0. Moving on to general business. Item 26-0847, discussion and possible action regarding commissioner appointments to the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committees and the Legislative Advocacy Committee. Ms. Faust, would you introduce this item, please?
Yes, this is the annual appointments of commissioners to the Florida League of City Policy Committees and the Advocacy Committee. These are due to the FLC by August 15th, I believe. And following the November election, any new commissioners would fill the appointment for the outgoing commissioner.
Okay, so basically what we're looking at is anybody wanting to change their appointments, or would you like to keep your current appointment that you have right now for the policy committees that you have over there? Myself, I'm going to keep mine. Commissioner Duval?
Good.
Commissioner Stokes?
Good with mine.
Commissioner Petro? And Vice Mayor?
I keep mine.
Well, you have to. Nobody wants to swap. Do we have any public comment?
And there is none.
All right, I'm going to request a motion.
I'll make it.
Go ahead.
I move that we maintain all current appointments for the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committees and the Legislative Advocacy Committee.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor to maintain all current appointments for the Florida League of Cities Legislative Policy Committees and the Legislative Advocacy Committee, made by Vice Mayor, seconded by Commissioner Petro. If there's nothing to that, please vote. And that passes 5-0. Okay, moving on to item B, 26-0875. Discussion and possible action regarding whether serving as a city commissioner is a full-time or part-time job. Ms. Faust, you're to introduce this item and then slingshot it back to me, I do believe.
Yes, that is correct. This item was requested to be added to an agenda for discussion during the June 10th budget workshop, and we put the next agenda item after it because it is going to discuss budget items, so the two were kind of in correlation. That's why we put this one first.
Okay, so my question is what type of action are we really looking at doing besides just a discussion on whether we feel if it's part-time or full-time?
I don't believe there is any action to be taken.
Okay, I just wanted to, because it said possible action, so I just wanted to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poll each commissioner to see what their opinion is on this, and then we'll go one by one. I'll start with Commissioner Petro and work our way down.
Thank you, Mayor. I do believe that, the premise of this discussion is really flawed in a way, because how can one commissioner define the work of the other commissioner? and that is the full-time or part-time position. Although I have to make it clear, I know where it's coming from, because I said to one of the candidates that it's 10 to 15 hours a week, and that is public meetings I meant. And just to be clear, you know, whoever twisted my words saying, you know, it's 15 hours and 15 hours, I urge you to look at any of our calendars, and public meetings are about 15, 20 hours per week. Now, that doesn't mean that we stop there. So, that being said, I don't think we should classify this as a part-time, neither classify this as a full-time position. Each commissioner chooses to devote whatever time he feels or she feels is appropriate to serve his or her constituents. And as I go back in reference to the meeting on September 10th, 2024, which was not part of that meeting because I was not elected yet. Listening to that meeting, I made some notes, and the stuff that was said there, it's all-day commission meetings, the extensive preparation for the agenda items. There are many public meetings not related to regular commission meetings, participating any way you can to engage in the community. The many community events to attend, not related to regular commission meetings. When out in the community, people approach and talk to us. They're available, that is, commissioners available 24/7. Immersing yourself in the community is a full-time job. And this is the quotes, these are the quotes that were said at that meeting. And specifically, 3 commissioners that were on that board referenced that it's a full-time position. So I just want to be clear that when I said 15, 20 hours per week, that is the public meetings related to our calendars. And again, if you have any questions, you can do a public record request or look at any of our calendars where it says how much time we spend. But I not merely believe that this is a part-time position. And the other thing is, if it's a part-time position and we hypothetically agree that it's a part-time position, at what number of hours we say, hey, I reached my part-time position, so I'm no longer doing my job this week because I'm at the part-time threshold. So again, how many hours is part-time? If the part-time is 20 hours per week, if I work 20 hours for this week and we get a workshop, a special meeting scheduled, what do I say? Sorry, it's a part-time position, so I have my workload filled this week, and I will not be attending this week meeting. So I think it's more of a individual commissioner's approach, how much time each commissioner wants to devote himself to the community. After all, we are responsible to our constituents, and I took this job not to promote myself, but to serve the city. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mayor. Getting ready for meetings, it sounds like a simple thing. You know, we meet twice a month, easy peasy. But anyone who's ever looked at the attachments to the agendas, to hack your way through those, really does take a lot of time. And then most first Mondays of the month, we have a workshop that goes several hours. I think what might not be as visible to the community is that each of us have our formal commission assignments to different groups and boards. So, for example, I sit on the board of the Economic Development Council of Sarasota County, and that board agenda has a list of attachments that you have to go through so that you're ready for the meeting. And I also sit on the Teen Court board of directors representing the city, and that agenda has the same list of things that we need to go through in order to be prepared and represent the city. In a lot of ways, the community events, so we have city events. The city does a ton of things for its employees, groundbreakings, all kinds of things. And those are really important, I believe, for a commissioner to attend. But the really unexpected pleasure for me in being a commissioner is getting invited to places where I never would have gone on my own. And the value of that is getting a perspective on the city and what we do and what's important to people in an informal, kind of relaxed setting. We all travel in our own circles. We all tend to talk to the same people on a daily or weekly or whatever basis. But the opportunity to go to community events into places where normally we don't cycle through is one of the most invaluable aspects of the job, though not required. And when we talk about serving our constituents, those constituents are the entire city. And so any kind of community event that gets us out, particularly out talking to people who we don't normally talk to on a regular basis, I view as an essential component of the job. So I look at it as full-time. I mean, am I 40 hours a week every week? No. Am I always thinking about, oh my God, what are we gonna do? All the time. So whether I'm preparing for a meeting or at a meeting or talking with city residents, I also have sort of a personal thing. I love to meet people for coffee, just to sort of sit down and have a chat, and I try to do at least 1 or 2 of those a week. So I'll put people on notice every once in a while. Actually, more than every once in a while, I'll get an email from someone who really talks about something in a very interesting way or shows a very interesting analysis of some decision that the commission has to make. And when I get those, I typically reach out to that person and say, hey, let's get together for coffee and talk about that a little bit more. What you had to say was really interesting. So being available for those kinds of interactions with the community are really invaluable. So, and Commissioner Petro is right. I mean, we can't dictate to each other. There's nothing in our charter that dictates a job description or whether this is full-time or part-time, and we're all kind of free to roll our own, so to speak, and I like that. But for me, it's definitely a full-time. It is. When I'm not here, it's always on my mind. So that's it for me, Mayor.
Commissioner Duvall.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I just don't consider this a job. For me, you know, this is a service position. Now, as far as whether it's full-time or part-time, considering that I'm 76 years old, any time I spend here is a considerable amount of the life I have left to live. And the Vice Mayor is correct. There are many times, tomorrow's Wednesday, and I don't have much on my schedule for tomorrow. I'll bet you I'll sleep until 6 o'clock. But the days that I have meetings or I have things going on, I'm awake at 4:30 in the morning. Things are on my mind, and I know that's not peculiar to just me. Thank you.
Commissioner Stokes.
Well, I think it's my obligation, okay? My obligation, my promise to the people who elected me to give this more than full time, to give this all my time, and I do. I spend lots of times preparing. I go to all the meetings, all the agenda items, and I immerse myself in the community. Pretty much every month I do town halls. I go into neighborhood communities. I don't advertise it and blow it. Every month I'm somewhere else. Every day I'm somewhere else. I believe I owe it to all the people who voted for me and whose tax dollars pay for my salary. So, you know, I consider it a full-time job, and I consider everyone who sits on this dais has the obligation to do the same. That's what I would expect as a citizen. That's what I would expect from every one of my electeds, okay? This is a big city. This is challenging. We've got a professional staff that challenges us continually to be better at what we do in order to keep a balance between commission and management. If that doesn't require full-time in anybody's mind, they should not sit up here on this dais. So, you know, again, that's my feeling, and I'm going to continue to do it as long as I serve, and I hope it sets an example for everybody else because, you know, like I say, we owe it to the people who elected us and the people who pay our salaries. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty much in the same boat, but I wanted to go back to what Commissioner Petro had said. It's true that you cannot judge the other commissioners. It's how you involve yourself into this. But if you were looking at, you know, 15 to 20 hours of your regular meetings, which is probably fair to say on a weekly basis, we've also got staff meetings. We've also got other meetings, community meetings out of here. When we go to FLC, we're displaced for a couple, 3 days from our families. And some weeks are a lot busier than other weeks. So I agree with Mr. Petro when he says, or Commissioner Petro, when he says, you know, if it's part-time and we hit our 25 hours, I'm done. I can't do Thursday and Friday. No, some weeks are going to be heavier than others and some are going to be lighter. And when you go with Commissioner Duvall, it is a service. You have to be available. I go out all the time. Before it was funny. The wife wrote for the paper. We couldn't even go out to dinner in town without people coming up to her and say, Elaine, what do you think about this, this, and this? I wasn't even on this dais at that time. And I said, Elaine, we got to go to Sarasota. We got to go to Port Charlotte. We did that. Same person. Hey, Elaine, I got a question. Now the shoe's on the other foot, you know, and wherever I go, I get asked questions and stuff like that. And I don't mind stopping and answering those questions. I'm always available. So it's part of the moment as well. So you want to be informative. You don't want to be rude and say, oh, no, my calendar, you know, set up an appointment. I'll meet you at City Hall 3 weeks from now. No, you have to be open and available. So 24/7, yeah, they're not going to get me when I'm sleeping. That's not going to happen. But, you know, if I'm out and about, yeah, I'm approachable. That's the way it should be. Except for Chuck out there. He's already used up his tokens, but that's all right. But but no, that's what it is. So it's hard to judge it between full-time and part-time. It's, you know, like I said, it's some are busy weeks, some are easy weeks. But altogether, I guarantee you, we put in more than 2,080 hours in a year. So that's full-time. So, Commissioner Petro?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Just want to add, if you take into account psychological, mental investment and work, that is more than full-time. Not to count that it is full-time, but it is, I would say, more than full-time. Because some agenda items are on my mind, even on the weekends, when I'm laying in bed, when I get up, constantly thinking what and how should I do better for the city. Thank you.
But you're still not going to steal the overachievement award from Commissioner Stokes. So, I guess that's it from us. Can we have some public comment?
Jane Woolston. The city commissioner position is a part-time job. As such, I hope the commissioners will not increase their salaries. Except for Congress, very few people can raise their own salaries. Perhaps a reduction in salary could be considered to ease the various proposed increases being considered tonight. In person, we have Robin San Vicente, Mark Franson, and Debbie McDowell.
I thought this was going to entail a lot more than just this. It's definitely a full-time job. I know what I'm doing, and I'm not even a commissioner, and I spend more than 60 hours a week researching all the city stuff. Also, I know it's full-time. Plus what you got to do with the community. Plus, yes, you take a lot of your information from staff, but then again, you do your own research on top of that in order to understand the pros and the cons of everything. So whoever says it's part-time, there's just no way. I know it's full-time, and I thank you all for your full-time devotion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Mark France, and I am a resident of the city of Northport. I appreciate all the hard work each and every one of you do each and every day. In my humblest of opinion, I do believe you do have a full-time job. But when I saw this agenda item pop up, it kind of grabbed me, and the reason being, I have interviewed every one of the 5 candidates or 6 candidates who were running for Northport City Commission. And of them, 3 of the 5 have told me that they were told it is a part-time job. And that concerns me from the standpoint that your income is not a part-time income. And the second thing that really spoke volumes to me, and it kind of jumps into the next section, is why are we giving benefits to commissioners who consider themselves having a part-time job? And all 3 of them got that same information from Commissioner Petro, and he said today that he has told them it's 15 hours a week, 12 to 15 hours a week. And I know the amount of time that is spent. There is nothing in our charter in regards to it. When I was on the Charter Review Board, we actually interviewed the current commissioners. My commissioner that I had the pleasure of interviewing was Mr. Mayor. And we talked about whether or not it was a full or part-time job. And he emphatically let me know it is a full-time job. And I agree with him. My concern is why are we telling candidates, or why are we telling prospective job seekers, because that's what you're doing, is seeking a job for 4 years with hopefully a 4-year extension on your contract. Why are we telling them you should be looking forward to a 12 to 15 hour a week job? Out of fairness, some of these people have other employment, family. I was the homeschool father of 8 kids. I can tell you that alone was a full-time job. And I had my normal job. For you to sit down and tell somebody who's doing similar work, raising a family, homeschooling children, that they're entering into a part-time career is unfair to the candidate, and I believe misleading. And I think you guys should talk amongst yourself if you can, not in regards to the sunshine, but talk to as much as you can that it is just not a reality. It is a full-time job, and I'm disappointed that you believe it is somewhat part-time, but now part-time plus. Thank you. Have a great evening. God bless.
Thank you.
As a former commissioner, I can tell you it is beyond a full-time job. It all depends on what that individual commissioner wants to make of the job. If they don't want to do the homework, then they don't do the homework, and it will show. If they don't want to go to outside meetings, it's their prerogative, but at the same time, they're not going to have the information. If they don't want to answer emails, can't force them. Sure would be nice if people would answer emails that citizens give, but that's their prerogative too. And I can tell you, as a commissioner, you guys do a hell of a lot for the community. I know we didn't always see eye to eye. I know you guys don't like me, and that's okay too, because you don't have to like everybody, but you do have to respect them. Good luck to you guys. It is a full-time job, and I'll tell you a little secret. Once a commissioner, always a commissioner.
All right, so we won't be taking any motion on this due to no action. We just had the discussion, correct? All right, so we're going to move on to item C, 26-0876. discussion and possible action regarding city commission budget items. Ms. Faust, this is your item once again.
This item again was requested to be added to an agenda for discussion during the June 10th budget workshop with regard to family and commission health insurance coverage, funding for travel to FLC legislative action days in Tallahassee, reimbursement of travel for events that are not directly related to commission board and committee appointments, and waiving of a COLA increase for commissioners.
Okay. Go ahead, Commissioner Stokes.
I'll kick it off. You know, this is a tough one. I mean, if we forego any increase, as Commissioner Duval said the last time we discussed this during budget time, it really isn't a lot of money. If we do it if we set the precedent and it happens for a period of years, we're gonna fall behind a little bit. But it's a symbolic gesture. There's no doubt about it. It sends a message to the citizenry that, you know, however small the amount is, it's something that we're willing to offer up because we hear them. You know, I see more in the area of benefits where we could possibly save money in our budget. You know, I mean, I'm sort of with the idea of commissioners getting their health benefits, but maybe, you know, I don't know if we quantified it, how much money, you know, and who's using the dependent coverages, could we save a significant chunk of money? Would that be a better direction to go as opposed to foregoing any increase this next year? I mean, you know, with the realization that probably property tax reform is going to take place in November, you know, this is not going to be something that sort of disappears as an issue. We're going to have challenges going forward, but, you know, whatever we try to decide here, it sort of ought to be something that we can stick to. And I hate the thought of, all right, let's just take a year off of raises, then next year we're going to give it, and we might be in the face of like huge tax revenue reductions. And then, you know, we're back facing the same question again. So, you know, maybe we should look at what package benefits we get, and maybe we can forego them. And maybe we should look at really slashing our budgets, you know, our spending budgets. I mean, I appreciate some of the value that FLC gives us. I mean, certainly, you know, I don't see the need for 5 of us to have to go up to Tallahassee if you know, a mayor and a vice mayor can go, or a designee. You know, I mean, we get 15 minutes in front of those people. They are available, our representatives. They're in and around the area. They come and speak all over the county and the state. I make it a point to go to those things, to meet with them. I don't need to go to Tallahassee to be able to talk to them. I can pick up the phone and make a phone call and get to them. So maybe there's an area where we could save some money in our small budget. It's not a huge budget, but it's symbolic to the citizens that we make some sacrifice here. So I don't have anything real definitive, but hopefully I launched the conversation, and, you know, I'm happy to hear what my fellow commissioners have to say.
That's it. Mr. Fletcher, this may go to you. If not, it may go to finance, since Commissioner Stokes brought up the financial impact on the benefits. Do we know what the city pays for, like our group benefits or whatnot, if it's a spouse and family? I know that we have to, as an employee and normal employees, they get theirs for free, but they pay a family package, and then the city subsidizes on top of that because of being self-insured. There's a cap on that family package.
Yes.
Do we know what those numbers are?
I do not think we have those numbers tonight.
Okay, because we may want to bring that back for a discussion, because if we don't have numbers on that, then we don't know what we're talking about, because.
Yeah, just at our fingertips, the numbers are available, we just don't have them.
She's walking.
I think she might know.
Because it may be a differential, and I'm not sure how we're going to look at it as a group, but you have, okay, the commissioner in the job has their benefits. Then you may want to have a spouse that you'll pay for, And then you may have family members that you want to pay for as well. And those costs are subsidized by the city because they pay well, I remember when I was an employee, I paid like $300 a paycheck for my family side of it.
Right.
So and then the city subsidized on top of that. So if we pay for it. Yeah, if it wasn't available, then the city wouldn't be subsidizing.
Or maybe our employees, maybe the commission pay for their.
For the subsidy in complete, yes.
So the city's not subsidizing a portion of it, that might work.
Not saying not make it available, but there could be some tweaking in some numbers. Just hold on a second and let her possibly answer.
Hold on one second, just want to make sure I'm looking at the right numbers. So of course, it depends on which plan you would pick. So there's Aetna Select Plan, there's Aetna POS2 plan, and then HSA plan. So depending on which plan you would pick, the employer cost for employee plus family is about $2,400 that the city pays that's per month, I believe. I just want to double check that is per month.
I'm hoping that's per year and not month.
Sorry.
Thinking the same thing. Now you're scared.
Yeah, hold on, because it says per pay period, so I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
How about we come back and confirm that through HR?
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
How about we
looking.
come back and confirm those
Yeah,
concretely for you for HR and send you some information, and then you'll have it for a better
Yeah,
decision.
because here's the scenario that, I mean, I know Commissioner DeBall wants to speak here real quick, but if it was like, when we were just talking, trying to get the numbers here, without the subsidy, let's say if they were
per
gonna
month.
pay
per month,
$2,000 per month?
So.
Yes, that's employer cost.
Yeah, it's our cost. You asked for our cost.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But then it goes down to the employee
Yeah.
for, so
Yes,
if
an
they're
employee-
paying $300 a paycheck, that's
Yes,
$600.
$300
So
per
you're making
paycheck
up
is-
$1,400. So if we're talking about reducing the benefits on commission and the family, it would be like they would have to front the cost for the whole benefit without subsidiary from the city.
Right.
That's what I think Commissioner Stokes was looking for at a savings, because, you're budgeting $2,000 a person, that's 10 grand.
Well, we have
Well-
the next budget session, which is July is it 10th, 11th? Oh, no, it's in.
Yeah, 29th or
Yes,
28th.
something like that. We'll make sure we can have you that information before then, so then you can make that decision.
Yeah, because that could be a very significant amount. If we were all on family plans up here, that's 120 grand a year.
No, we don't budget that way. So whatever plan you're on right now, like for certain commissioners that are not.
Yeah, it's just me on mine.
Yeah, so then we don't budget for if you're not on it.
Correct.
Right.
We could probably tell them collectively or individually what their cost is in that category. And then you can decide if you want to change it or not.
For, as their total budget?
Well, no, their individual decisions on their plans will add up to a number that the city is paying for based on what they have selected.
Yes.
And we'll be able to tell you what that is, and then you can decide if you want to change that or not.
Right. Yeah, we just need those numbers.
Which is already in the budget.
Yeah, it's already in the budget. Yeah, true. It's
So do
already-
you need those numbers now?
No.
Not right now?
All right. Yeah. Wait, do you have it right now?
Yes, in our budget,
No,
the
for them
benefits.
individually?
Not individual.
Yeah.
Well, individual, I have it in front of me right now.
Okay, what is an individual?
So for each specific individual commissioner, you would like a number.
Just an individual? Yes.
He wants to know
Just-
how much it would be if it was just an individual.
One individual.
plan.
Not
How much
like-
does the city subsidize?
Not what the city says.
Yeah.
If it's individual.
Is that public information, or are we skirting
Yes, we
on
have
a
that.
issue?
So if it's an employee only without family,
Yes.
Correct, but is that public information with the question?
yes.
Is that HIPAA?
It's just the amount of the plans. We're not
No,
putting
it's
a
a
name to it.
total, right.
Right, but we don't want to put a name to it.
No.
That's
I'm
what-
just telling you what's the total cost for just an individual without a family.
Correct.
Without child.
Yes. I know what
$1,000
Per month?
per month.
And with the family?
With the family, so with the spouse is 1,700.
Yep.
With the employee plus children, it's 1,000, about 600, depends on which plan you pick. And then employee plus family is about 2,400.
Okay, got it. Yeah, 1,700.
That's employer cost.
That's the total amount that person would pay based on that selection. So
That's the employer cost, not the employee.
I'm sorry, per selection.
So for the next budget meeting, could we get a cost, assuming, let's take the scenario that commissioners get their health insurance. What would we save if there was no additional coverage? In other words, how much would we save from our budget right now if all that was done was the city paid for the 5 commissioners' health care? Not their families, not their spouses, not their dependents, not their kids, just us. How much would we save? Because that's a number then we could talk about in terms of making a decision. Should we not offer dependent coverage, but just commission coverage? That would be a number I'd want to know.
It would be about $40,000.
How much?
40.
40,000
Well,
for
not
the year.
all right now are picking family plans.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going based on how I know.
Is that per month or per year?
That's an annual cost.
Annual cost, 40,000 we would save, okay? Roughly.
Roughly.
Yeah, but you'll come back with more concrete evidence.
Yeah, we could calculate and provide you all of that information. Because not everyone is participating in the plan, so that's not really a savings in their budget, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so we
I
just,
got
we
it.
need,
Yep.
don't make assumption that if you do that, you're gonna save 40.
Thank you. You need to speak up too, because
Oh, I'm
nobody can
sorry.
hear you.
Yeah.
Outside voice.
I said, it's not necessarily that we're gonna save 40,000, right? Because not everybody's participating in a family plan.
I added that in when I got to the 40.
Okay.
But thank you.
Before you go, Director, are you done?
Yeah, thank you.
You're next, go ahead.
Okay. I just have a question. In terms of healthcare benefits, are commissioners treated any differently than an employee would be treated?
Not that I know of. That's more of a HR question, but not that I know of.
Because on the benefit question, we just had a conversation that this is a full-time job, did we not? I think there was agreement on that. I've also had conversations, or I think we on the dais have had conversations in the past about our desire to attract younger people to the dais. So if we're attracting younger people and they have families, I don't see, I'm very uncomfortable thinking that we wouldn't cover health insurance in those situations. I think that would be a huge disadvantage for a younger person being willing to do this service job without being treated family. I mean, we're telling them it's a full-time job. Having to take a job, particularly if they're leaving a position where their health care benefits are subsidized in whatever way, that would be a serious disincentive for them to run for commission. So I just want us to be really careful on that. And as long as we're treated as any employee would be treated, and we're not receiving any favorable treatment, then that's fine. When I took this position, I already had Medicare in my supplemental. I'm not a spring chicken. So I opted to not participate in the city's health plan. But I do take advantage of dental and vision, and that's covered. So I would certainly entertain that not being covered, or is that normally covered for a single? Because I think I used to pay for my late husband. I signed him up for those as well. So again, just so long, I think commissioners should be treated in the healthcare area the way an employee would be treated. and they have the option to sort of pick and pay like any employee would pick and pay. So that's just my input on that. I agree we should consider, and again, some of these numbers are small, but as someone already mentioned, I think it's symbolic, and foregoing a COLA for us in '27, I'm good with that. And maybe a second year going, you know, we'll worry about 28 when we get to 28. But I think it shows that we're recognizing the pinch that everyone is feeling and that we're willing to give up some things. So again, I'm kind of a pro no COLA for 27. I also think we can cut our travel budget. We could do that a couple ways, sort of line item by line item. 2 people go to Tallahassee, the other 3 stay home. I don't care about that. It might be better to just cut our travel budgets in half, and then we decide what we do with that budget or not. So that's sort of my input on it. I do understand that benefits is more than likely the biggest bite, but I already sort of expressed my concerns with treating commission any different than we would treat any employee. Uh-oh, am I in trouble?
May I? Juliana Belia, Deputy City Manager. I just spoke to the Human Resources Director, Christine McDade, and commissioners are treated the exact same as employees with respect to health care benefits. Okay.
I'm done.
Commissioner DeValle.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna kind of go through some of the things that have already been mentioned, like the Vice Mayor just mentioned, you know, the COLA. You know, it would be symbolic for us to, you know, give up any raise this year. And, you know, during one of our budget talks, you know, what I spoke of was when the raises went from, you know, the pay for this job was about $42,500, and over 2 years it went to $66,500. When that happened, some of the reasons given for those raises were to make the position amenable to someone who is younger, you know, and maybe giving up a job or their business. And my only caution with that is if you give up the COLAs, you may drop back down to where you get back into that argument again. You know, giving up the COLA this year in particular, whatever, you know, I don't have a problem. As far as healthcare, you know, that's an individual thing. I know that in the 2025 budget book, the commissioner's healthcare costs went from $60,000 down to $49,000 from 2024 to 2025. And a good part of that was because being so old, I already have all my health care benefits, and I do not use any health care, any of the insurances from the city. Our travel. Just this week, for the first time, I used a city vehicle to go to one of my meetings up in Sarasota. And then other members didn't show up, and the trip was for naught, no quorum. But that travel budget, you know, it's, Commissioner Stokes mentioned, you know, FLC, and I believe this myself. I don't believe we all have to go there. Letter of intent, you know, amongst ourselves, we can say, what are our issues that we bring forward there? It does cost a lot of money when we travel. And then there's different things. One of the things, and this is just with me, I'm not saying there is no worth here, but in the past year and a half, I get invitations from the EDC, and some of their meetings are at the Ritz-Carlton. The first one, it was a luncheon, and it was $150 a seat. The next one was $300. And sometimes the staff will buy a table, okay? I have not attended any of those. I will not spend taxpayer money. You know, if we even have, you know, one person going to those, then I believe that's enough. I personally just can't spend taxpayer money. EDC is a corporation. That's all I got.
All you got? All right. Well, talked a little bit about insurance, the cost of living. I got no issues with that if we paused it for a year. To visit it again next budget cycle or whatnot. The travel, that's a big issue. Is I firmly believe we do not need 5 people up in Tallahassee. That's the biggest hit to our travel budget at about $1,000 a person. So if you had, like, be it the mayor or vice mayor or designate or whatever, if the mayor doesn't want to go and he says, hey, Commissioner Petro, can you go in my place? And he goes, yes, I'm free that time. I'd like to go up there. Then it's available, but I would slot it to 2 individuals. The other travel, I mean, FLC has different things, mostly in Orlando, but then they got one down in Hollywood, which is a hell of a drive too. Might want to pick and choose some of those. If it's not a committee meeting, maybe you don't need to go. And that again, that falls on the individual. So, I mean, I see where we need to decrease our budget. That's the place to look at it, and I look forward to see what those insurance numbers are when they come back. Commissioner Stokes, our clerk, you got your name up there. I'll let you go before Commissioner Stokes.
So when you're talking about the travel, there's a couple things to keep in mind. New commissioners, our 2 new commissioners, they've both gone to email. So their amount that they've spent this year is a little more than the rest of the other 3 because y'all didn't go to email. And so if you were to deduct that amount for FLC legislative action days from them, that probably would remove their funding to be able to go to the 4 meetings for the boards that you're appointing them to, which is the Hollywood and the Orlandos, not Tallahassee. We still want to be able to cover that expense for them to be able to go to email, because that's where they're going to learn a lot about what they're doing up here. One of the things that I will say is for your training and education, none of you have even made it to $1,000 yet this year that you have spent from that. So that would be an option to maybe cut some extra. I did cut $1,000 already going into this budget, so it was $3,200 last year. This year I recommended $2,200 for it, but nobody has even spent $1,000, and that is for your registration for like events that you're going to attend. So that might be an option to look at that, to cut from there instead of the actual budget for going places.
Right, but let's just say if you have your new individuals, let's say you got 2 new individuals coming on board in November and you get them enrolled in EMU and blah, blah, blah. Well, that would take precedence over going to legislative days. Up in Tallahassee, you would want your seasoned commissioners going to those days. So it's going to be a give and choose, give and take from those commissioners. You're either going to do this or you want to do this. So if you want the training, you want the EMU, you want to learn, then go to this. We just can't have it all anymore,
Yeah. And for the ones that, the 2 commissioners that did travel to EMO and then went to FLC, they didn't go to, actually most didn't go to the 4 FLC conferences or that y'all have had this year where you go for your policy committee meetings. So most of the money was spent on FLC for all of you, but then didn't go to the other ones that if they would go to those, y'all would be over the budget. You see what I'm saying? So if you take it from, they're already sacrificing not going to those ones to go to FLC, so they still need that money to be able to go to the policy committee meetings, is what I'm saying.
Well, and there's another thing too with the policy committee. There is one time when you go to vote to make your vote count. The other ones are meetings prior to that with discussion items and stuff, and they are available online. So, or via Zoom or whatever you call it. So there's options that we can look at that travel budget. City Manager, I see you poked in there too, so you go right ahead, sir.
Just wanted to say, Mr. Mayor, if you do choose to forego your COLA, it will require a supermajority of the board to do so.
Yeah, no, I got you, okay. Commissioner Stokes.
Yeah, you know, places where we might, I mean, you know, the emo meetings, I mean, you know, we gotta look at where they are too. I mean, you know, if they can be done in Orlando, you're in and out in a day, you don't need a hotel room. You get up in the morning, you go, you do your business, and you come home. Ethics, that's the other thing. I mean, you can do them virtually, but quite frankly, I think you get a lot more value doing them in person. But I gotta tell you, I went to Sarasota and sat with the Sarasota Commission and did my ethics there. Didn't cost the city a dime. Same thing when I went to Longboat Key the year before. Drove up there for the day, spent the day. They fed me lunch. I got my ethics training. Didn't cost, right? It made a lot more sense than going somewhere. You know, those are areas we can address. I'll bring up, you know, maybe a minor element. You know, quite frankly, I haven't found much value at all in going to the Florida League of Cities. The first year I did, I went to, I think, all three. Quite frankly, I find the Florida League of Cities totally impotent, okay? Every year, we get preempted. Every year, the state takes away more of our responsibilities. If you ask me, their organization does nothing. Why are we spending thousands of dollars to go and support Florida League of Cities and go to these committee meetings when we're voting on stuff that most of the time doesn't even affect our city at all? It affects subject matter that's totally unrelated to our little old Northport here. And, you know, I don't know how much money that adds up to, but quite frankly, I don't find them to be very good at advocacy, because every year for the past God knows how many years, cities are taking it in the head. And so what are they doing to help us? Nothing, in my book. They ought to be suing the state and fighting for our rights at local government levels, and they don't. So why are we using taxpayer money to go to these things? But I'm just throwing that out there as a hand grenade, see if anybody wants to pick up on it and tell me I'm an idiot for even bringing it up. You know,
No, you're right.
just a thought. You know, we're trying to save money here. We really are. And, you know, I mean, every department, I assume, is doing this same thing and taking a hard look at where they're spending money. And if you think this year was tough, wait till next year and the year after that. Everybody better start looking every inch of their pockets and what goes on here, because this is what we're going to be facing. So, you know, we better look for what kind of bang we're getting for our buck out of every taxpayer dollar we're spending. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to get on my podium here.
City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. And just as to the insurance issue, there may be an issue with not the inability to only offer as to the commissioners under the American Care Act, which requires employers, including municipalities, that have more than 50 employees to offer full-time employees and their dependents health insurance. So we'll look into that, we'll get you the numbers.
And that's fine, we need all that information.
And we'll get that for you for budget.
But it could be paid for. I don't say we don't offer it. I say that if we offer it, dependent coverage has to be paid for by the employee rather than the city.
We'll look into.
Well,
Okay, that's what I mean. That would be what I'd love to know if it's legal or not.
Well, I think that's what the clarification would be. If we're offering it to all employees at X, then it should be offered to the commission at X legally. So they'll look into that. So that's good. Commissioner Petro.
Thank you, Mayor. With regards to emo, I think, and I do believe it's 2-day, so if we care about our own education and how to serve better, it is a 2-day, so it will require overnight stay. With regards to health insurance, since we agree that it's full-time, if we're gonna cut the benefits, which is I'm okay with if as long as it's a board decision, but I pay for my dependents. I pay about almost $400 every paycheck. Hardly use it, but it's insurance. And the whole definition of insurance is if something happens, you know, you're able to use it. Now, taking that away, there might be some legal implications, because we, just like the city attorney said, that it will be, some nuances that we have to look into those. But I do pay for my dependents, and if it is taken away, I do believe it is in a way discriminatory, and that is age discriminatory because I have dependents. I do believe the other 4 commissioners don't have dependents that they pay for or use the health insurance. So it's a double-edged sword. I mean, if we do take it away, there might be some implications. But in all fairness, I don't think it's big savings. It is a saving, absolutely. But, we have to take a look at this carefully because it is a discriminatory thing, in my opinion, at least. And we as individual commissioners, we choose what plan to purchase. And if we don't participate, there would be some savings. If we do, well, we're still paying for it. It's not like we get it for free. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Stokes?
Yeah, I have really a legal question. An employee, I'm trying to remember the language. To me, the charter doesn't define a commissioner as an employee. We've treated them as employees for benefit purposes, so there's an equity there. If we're lucky, we serve 8 years. If not, we serve 4. We are temporary people, okay? We're not full long-term employees of the city. So it does make one question whether or not we should be defined in certain respects as employees. We've chosen to do that, but legally it would be interesting to know if we're considered employees. I mean, because I don't consider myself an employee. I consider myself an elected official who serves the city and serves the folks who elected me. I don't consider myself an employee of the city. I mean, I don't know if legally I am.
I understand the question and never had to research that issue, so I will look into it.
I mean,
I
it
understand
makes you
that.
wonder. And it might have implication on the stuff we're talking about. That's the only reason I brought it up. Kind of popped into my head.
But yes, I understand.
I think they are considered an employee because when we were doing some research on another item, when it talked about them giving their oath, I think it was in the oath that said, as an employee of the city, because Commissioner Cavallo, I want to say it was something related to you and I had, and you were like, you were not an employee, and I was like, oh, but you took an oath that says you are an employee. So I think it is in there somewhere, Commissioner.
It'd be good to know.
I think I remember it from somewhere.
Listen to the conversation, it made me wonder,
Right, I'm gonna try to find it
what
real
we
quick.
were.
Yeah.
You can get W-2s.
Yes. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Well, that's because you're getting paid.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
We're not, it could be treated like contract labor.
But it's not a 1099.
Well, if I may, yes, exactly that. I have another little part-time job I do. It's the company that hires me, so, I don't get a W-2 from them. I'm considered as a contractor to them.
Let's not report that to
So
the IRS.
here we get a W-2, so we're employees in that respect.
All right, we've pretty much exhausted this one for now. We got any public comment there, City Clerk?
Yes. Mark Franson, W. McDowell, and Robin San Vicente.
It's truly a bizarre conversation.
Again, thank you, commissioners. Most of what I had to say was kind of covered. When I saw this agenda item originally, as I made mention, once you make up your mind whether it is or full-time or part-time, and then the question goes to part-time employees, how much benefits. And it also goes one step further in your benefits. And I'm not here to see any of you lose a penny of your benefits or your pay, but I look at a few things. For example, your pension. Well, you're limited to 8 years, unless you're fortunate enough, if you only serve 4, to get a job with the city, then you can continue on to get your total of 8, because you have to be 8 years to get the full vested. Well, that's a lot of money that the city is paying in. All brought up, and it's kind of just old-fashioned grunt work, as we do with any business or family. If you realize your income is going to be cut, you can only do one thing, and that's tighten your belt. And you have to look at every single item in your family household budget, what you can cut out. If it's going out to dinner instead of once a week, once a month, if it's dropping some of the insurances, the lowering the quality of plan, those are all things that unfortunately it's a tough decision to look at, but you've got to look at it and, as they used to say, bite the bullet. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Your salaries, I'm glad to hear you're considering doing it for 1 year. But then you're kind of twisting it around and saying, well, we're going to remove all the benefits for dependents and have the employees pay 100% of it, as opposed to what is covered partially by the city and partially by the employee. Are you prepared to do that for the other employees? Because I believe me, you guys were shocked at the amount of money that the city pays for dependent coverage for the commissioners. Wait till you see that number citywide. It's humongous, all right? If you're looking to try and cut things, here's a couple of ideas. Oh, your FRS, that's state mandated. You have no control over those contributions. It's state mandated. You can walk during the poinsettia parade instead of getting a golf cart, or foot the bill yourself. You can not send out birthday cards. I know when I was in charge of birthday cards, I loved doing that every single month. I paid for those myself because I loved doing it. It was that important to me to make sure that our employees got a birthday card. The miscellaneous flowers and stuff, you can cut that probably in half. You haven't spent it, but you do need to have something in there in case there's a death in the family or one of you, you need to send flowers somewhere. Special event sponsorship program, it's a great program. But if you're really serious about cutting things, there's $5,000 that's in your budget. I'd hate to see it go, but you got to tighten your belt. You want to cut your travel and stuff. You do not get to dictate where a commissioner gets to go for travel. That is not fair to the commissioners. That's not your role. You already stated that when you were talking about full-time job and telling commissioners what they can and cannot do. If you want to cut it, you just cut it across the board. You don't say, oh, you can't go to Tallahassee because you're going to emo. That's not fair. That is an individual commissioner's decision. And I hate to tell you guys, y'all are talking really small potatoes here with these benefits that the city pays for dependents. And one of the commissioners, I think it was Commissioner Langdon, already said, you're trying to get young people to join the board. Good luck with that if they're not getting the same benefits as all the other employees. And yes, you are an employee because the city pays your workman's comp. You are an employee.
I'll just, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Langdon, because that was exactly what was on my head as far as trying to get younger people on the commission. That is one thing that they're going to look at is their dependents. This is a full-time job, and you are technically an employee. So you're entitled to those benefits. And in my opinion, as a citizen, I have no objection to paying a commissioner what you're getting paid and then having those benefits available to you. There's plenty of other areas that you can cut. I don't even understand what this health center is for the employees. What is that? That's one thing you can cut right there. If we have to seriously make cuts, then we gotta seriously look at other areas. But the more you cut from the commission, the less you're gonna get, and the less active you're gonna be, and the less motivated you're gonna be. That's not good. So I think we need to look at other areas, and especially that health center, just for employees. Thank you.
That's all right.
All right. Is there any type of action we're willing to take this evening, or are we gonna wait for some more information?
Budget.
Wait for budget?
Gave us a lot of food for thought.
Yeah, I mean, we have good discussions, but we're gonna need more information, and we can look at it at budget. You good with that, city clerk? Good. Got one item left.
Take a deep breath, sir.
All right, moving on. Item D, 26-0765, discussion and possible action regarding amending City Commission Policy Number 2020-02, ceremonial items. Ms. Fox, this one's yours.
Yes, this item was requested to be added to an agenda for discussion. I believe it was by Commissioner Stokes. And the attached policy provides language changes that would allow for a broader criteria to present the key to the city to residents and to limit the issuance of key to the city to twice a year. The thought process behind it was so that we weren't giving them out every month. And so we would take, say from January to April, whatever ones we've received. From then, we would put them on an agenda for approval in May to have them presented in June. And then do the same thing at the end of the year. So then we just have 2 days that we present the key to the city to someone.
All right, so Commissioner Stokes, since you put this up here, would you like to take the lead on this?
Yeah, there were a couple of things I thought about. One, I'm glad that we amended the language a little bit because to me, a key to the city should go to an individual who has gone above and beyond to give back to our city. It shouldn't just be for a veteran, it shouldn't just be for a hero, it shouldn't just be for a visiting dignitary. It should be for an individual who has gone above and beyond to serve this city in whatever capacity they may see fit and have been recognized by the citizenry. So the language we have there, I like. I mean, I researched it a little. It's good general language. It's inclusive because truthfully, the way it first came out on the attachment, not one person we gave the key to the city to would have qualified, right? So I'm glad there's that. I don't like the idea of every other month given out this, so twice a year or once a year I'm good with. I also don't think that commissioners ought to recommend the key to the city. I think that if a commissioner thinks someone's worthy, go find someone in the community to sponsor that person. And then there ought to be some criteria. It's like, some general review by some group with a recommendation to commission as to here's the reasons why this individual is worthy. Because, otherwise it can become very self-serving. I mean, I think Jill Luke deserved the key to the city as much as anyone I've ever known. But she's been my mentor. She's been my rabbi. I succeeded her. How could I voluntarily? It's just not, I don't feel good about that. That's why I didn't. And I think that it shouldn't come from commission. It should come from the community. And there should be some substance to why this person is qualified under the definition, that we've put in this resolution or this move. So there's a little more to it than just, let's do it twice a year or once a year, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but that's kind of where my head was at on this item,
Vice Mayor?
Yeah, I do like the idea of having it come from the community. I do believe that the keys to the city that we have given out, at least while I've been a commissioner, have been well deserved.
Absolutely.
But I agree. It should come from the community. And now are you recommending additional language around who might or might not qualify, or just more definition there? What is your thought?
I was hoping that, okay, let's say a citizen said, you know, I really think Andrew Sy is deserving of key to the city. Well, no, yeah, I know how you would vote, but I might vote differently. And that application for it should be written up in a formal fashion, submitted to the clerk's office perhaps, with here are the reasons why this person is deserving. Now, I don't know if we need to go so far as to actually have a group, a committee of some sort. If it were submitted in that fashion with some structure to it, then it could be submitted to us as commissioners to look at. Just like we kind of do, you know, when we pick people for the advisory boards, we get a resume, we get a cover letter. It's kind of like you got something to work with here. Because like the last one, like I didn't really know the gentleman yet. All the things I heard about him convinced me that, wow, he was well deserving, but I didn't really know. So what did I have to work with? I kind of sat here and waited to hear what all you all had to say and the public had to say, and then I went along. I don't think that's like, we could tighten that up a little bit. So that was sort of where my head was at, you know. Nothing overly formal, nothing overly burdensome, but just let it come through so people could see, so people could say, wow, look at this laundry list of what this person contributed to the city. Here's why John Q. Public thinks, you know, Chuck English deserves the key to the city. Look at what he's done for this city. Look at how crazy he's driven us. Did I say that? But you know where my head's at on this.
Oh, we know where your head's at, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome. City Clerk, you're in the queue.
So the only reason I did not add the language for commissioners not to be able to recommend or for the committee to review them, the commissioner portion was because since 2019, of the 7 that we received, only 1 was from the public. And we do have online our key to the city and our proclamation request form. So when somebody from the public does fill that out, they will put that information in there, and then that is presented in that agenda item to commission. But we only received 1 from the public since August of 2019. And we've received 7. And the committee portion of it, the only concern that I would have is we'd have to create a board, and then we might not have people show up, and then it'll get delayed.
We don't need that.
But question on that committee, is there any current committee that this could be placed upon as part of their duties?
It would not fall under any of the duties of the boards that
Not
we
even
have
the
right now.
historic board or anything like that, which I know is not in
It would
active
not fall
right now.
under any
Wouldn't
roles.
fall underneath there, trying to get key to the city to the
Not under the
generation
current
that's
roles
been here
now.
historically and what they've done.
We'll use historic paper. We can use historic paper.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't fall under their current roles or responsibilities.
Okay, I just thought that maybe it could be thrown in there so that it becomes your committee in the clerk's office.
Okay,
It had that up.
I'll do that.
I vote for it. And city manager volunteers to be on that committee as well?
His key to the city is denied.
Oh, no, not without a vote. He's not on that committee.
All right, I'm glad that you did the amendment of that. Do we want to make a motion to make it to where it's not commission orientated, or do we just want to leave it as is and let the cards lay where they lay? I'm good with it the way it is right now because, you know, we can always deny until June and stuff like that, you know. That's up to y'all after November, so. I think we're good. What do you think? You want more direction?
Well, there's a motion to draft a resolution to bring back for approval to change the policy.
Okay, is that with all your changes that are in it right now?
Yeah, as presented. Yep.
All right, then, we got public comment?
We do not.
All right, I'll request a motion. It's right there, so.
Yeah, I guess I'll make it. I move to direct city clerk to draft a resolution amending policy 2020-02 as presented.
Second.
Have a motion on the floor to direct the city clerk to draft a resolution amending policy 2020-02 as presented, made by Commissioner Stokes, seconded by Commissioner Duval. If there's nothing to that, please vote. passes 5-0. Final public comment, City Clerk?
There's none.
All right. Communications, Commissioner Duval.
Yes, I did attend a CAB meeting in Sarasota, which did not have a quorum. That's it.
So that was a non-attendance to that CAB meeting. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to update that.
Non-attendance, attendance.
Commissioner Stokes.
I've got nothing.
Yeah, me too. Vice Mayor?
Nothing here, thanks.
Commissioner Petro? Good, because I was trying to go all 5-0. City Clerk? City Attorney?
Nothing there.
City Manager?
Just to be different.
Go right ahead, sir. Meeting adjourned. No, go ahead.
I have nothing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. It's 8:56. I adjourn this meeting.
Is your crib. Looking forward to seeing you here. Duty calls.